The following presentation was recorded at the third NDS public conference in June 2021.
So I'm really pleased to have Nihat Kücük from Daimler with us, and he is presenting us on the use of NDS in the new Mercedes S-Class, and really curious about the insights and the innovations you are going to present in your top vehicle. So I think there's a lot of innovation there, not just in the navigation space, but also in ADAS and automated driving. So yes, Nihat, if you can share your screen, and also I think you're still muted.
Yes. Hi, Martin. Thanks. Yeah, let me share my presentation. I'll show you a few slides and two short video clips. Yeah, thanks again for the invitation. Hello, everybody. My name is Nihat. I work at the Mercedes-Benz Research and Development Center in Böblingen, very close to Daimler's largest production facility in Sindelfingen. My team is responsible for navigable maps in general, and also for ADAS map features and real-time traffic information for all passenger car lines, and also the van lines, by the way. I'm in the mapping and navigation system for more than 30 years now, so I'm almost an old hand in this business. What I'm going to do is I'll show you a few slides about the Mercedes-Benz navigation products over the last 10 years. I will rush through this presentation quickly, so if you have questions, please feel free to ask me questions afterwards. Yeah, let's quickly look back at the times where NDS wasn't there yet, which means you know, the early onboard navigation systems. Those products were designed and developed, tested, integrated, and operated with a proprietary set of hardware and software data suppliers. So we had, as I said, a proprietary software stack. The interfaces and the onboard map data was proprietary. It was all, you know, made, tailor-made more or less, and there was almost nothing that we could reuse. So all hardware and also software developments couldn't be reused and didn't survive into the next product generation, which means these systems were highly expensive when we had to build them. This cost a lot of development efforts, a lot of engineering costs, maintenance costs through the entire vehicle life cycle. I mean, till at least end of production, and usually even a few more years afterwards. We thought, well, that needs to have an end in order to make navigation systems affordable, not only in the luxury car lines, but also in the mid-range and compact class. So what we did is we've been one of the early, you know, members or founders of NDS. I found this picture here. It was very interesting. That was like 11 years ago, where a small group of international business players had the same goal, right? Defining a navigation standard and a standardized map format. And the group started with a limited size for efficient development, so not to have too many people in large rounds in order to make decisions quickly. And the common development effort by all members was to find the best solution for future navigation systems. And then in 2009, NDS became a registered association, a so-called EV. What was the motivation behind joining NDS? For the first time, we've been able to come up with a flexible supplier set. Back then, it was like Garmin with Mapscape, and HERE and TomTom, Melco as a partner. Our first NDS system was done by the software stack by Garmin. The map data was provided, for example, also by Garmin for Taiwan. Mapscape did the worldwide NDS compilations. We got map content from HERE for North America, Europe, South America, also Pacific area like Australia, New Zealand. TomTom provided the content for Africa, Middle East, Southeast Asia. The map for China came from AutoNavi, and the Indian maps we got from My India. So you can see a lot of suppliers, and this wasn't able before NDS because there was no chance to get them on one standard. So that was a huge benefit for us at that time. And the first NDS car lines that we launched was in early 2014. We introduced our CClass, the car line W205, having the first NDS-based navigation software running. Here you see, the head unit placed, in the center with a large screen, and we also had interestingly also our colleagues from the WAN division, using the very same platform introduced in the W447 V-type. Okay, what was then the next generation? You probably know MBUX. It stands for Mercedes-Benz User Experience. And the first car line was the AClass. The AClass was shown at the Las Vegas CES conference in early 2018. And as you can see, we had a full digital display. So having the instrument cluster on the left side, the navigation, infotainment, media player on the right side. We had the hard disk navigation on the basis of here maps, suggesting like also POI, some smart skills for the SDS. The speech dialogue system was integrated. The onboard navigation system also works without any online connection. This is very important because we still have many markets where we don't have online connection or where the online connection is bad. So the MBUX system was also offering the first time augmented reality. Was completed, to have the first, having video images, and also on the head-up display, showing the surroundings, taking, with the aid of the front camera, in order to show features, both on the video screen and also if you have a head-up display on the head-up display. So we've been able to show navigation information like turning guidelines, also street names. And we also did, put house numbers on buildings, for example. So all data that is inside an NDS database. This makes it easier for the driver to search, for a certain house number or find the correct side of the road when you turn. I think this was one of the best features that MBUX delivered, next to, of course, a different UI, a better user experience. But I think it was augmented reality was something that we worked like 10 years before it actually was launched with this car line. So it took a hell of a development, lots of concepts, and to be one of the first OEMs to be in the market with this feature was a big challenge. Although I have to say that it was done by a small team of engineers, being more pioneering than, just building evolutionary software. It was something that we built on our own from scratch. Okay, MBUX Reloaded. What does that mean? Now we come to the SClass. The second generation of MBUX debuted in our SClass 2023, which was launched late last year. And I think it's another milestone at the interface between the driver, the passengers, and the vehicle. Like we have up to 5 screens on board, some with OLED technology. We have, the rear seat entertainment there. We have a new 3D driver display, formerly known as instrument cluster, for the first time, that allows a spatial perception, of a scene with some 3D effects, which of course requires eye tracking, which is also included. On this picture, you see the center display. What else can you do instead of just showing a map? We have a technology called MBUX Travel Knowledge. Early this year at CES, we presented this one, an intelligent function, that uses map data in order to provide information about the surroundings. And you can talk to the system, like, hey, Mercedes, what's the name of the restaurant on the left? And you get that information both on the map and also spoken. This feature is available in the new SClass and also in the EQS version. I would like to show you a quick video. I hope it works. Let me know if it shows up. It shows quickly how Mercedes-Benz travel knowledge works.
In Mercedes, what's that building on the right? This is Mercedes-Benz Museum. It is a rating of 5 stars and is currently open.
Audio is working, but it's very low. So if you can turn up the volume a bit.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I will show you the way. Hey Mercedes, when was the Mercedes-Benz Museum built? According to Wikipedia, the Mercedes-Benz Museum was completed on the 19th of May, 2006. Thank you. You're welcome.
So the audio was low. I'm sorry for that. I don't know what the reason for that one is. I think you got the idea. Like, the lady was driving and asking, what is the building on the right side, and then you get information, augmented on the back end, and then it's presented to the driver with some visual feedback on the display. And we also think about putting that into the AR screen as well. What you see here on the next slide is we use the onboard NDS database also to source our driver assistant features. Now also implemented inside the augmented reality video and also head-up display. So we place the virtual distance and speed elements on the screen. The lane keep assist function animates the lane markings, for example, here on the right side, if you come closer to the edge of the road, for example. But there's more, like we also, on the left side, you see like a left turn guidance maneuver visualized by an animated fishbone pattern, plus a classical standard turn symbol, as you can see, and lane markings on the lower left. We have implemented a virtual roundabout assistant, which you see on the right side, showing when to enter or exit the roundabout. And you see also house numbers here attached to the buildings. We try to also have them really attached to the buildings. So which means when you drive over a bump, for example, the house number will not move. It will stay at the exact right position. So this is a lot of fine tuning that we did over the past years in order to have, a really nice animation and really sticky information on the screen. We also show the destination point, your arrival point, when you approach your destination, with a flag and additional information about, for example, parking when available. In the guidance mode, we also prompt the name of the next street to turn in. You can, of course, switch it off and on. And in the next video clip, I'm going to show all these features in a very quick video scene. There, you don't need audio actually. You can just watch the video. All right. So we can do a lot about software, but we also need additional and better hardware in the car, and we try to build in the newest technologies that make sense in the car to be used, whether it's different displays or also audio equipment. So what we did with the new electric S-Class, the EQS, early this year is we introduced the so-called Hyperscreen. So this is, of course, one of the highlights in our new EQS. This large curved screen stretches almost the entire width of from the left to the right. The UI software is capable of learning the display and operating concepts, adapts completely to its user, and makes professional, let's say personalized suggestions for many different navigation, infotainment, and also comfort functions of the vehicle. It's also attractive for the passenger, and the passenger receives also his own display and menus, and you actually can slide content from the left to the right. So it's actually really dynamic. Things don't have to stay there where they're placed in the beginning, so the system learns. Let me give you some background information about the technology. So this thing is almost 1.5 meters wide. Several displays appear to merge seamlessly in an impressive widescreen curved presentation. The large glass cover is curved three-dimensionally. It's not just flat, it's curved three-dimensionally in order to have always the best view on the display. There are also 12 actuators, giving you haptic feedback when you operate with your fingers. If you touch to a point, then there's a tangible vibration of the cover plate. And also, the cover plate is reflected, so we have minimized, reflection. It's different whether you have one single display in the car and you can avoid reflection, but imagine you have like 1.5 meters and you have to avoid reflection at any place of that display. So that was a huge challenge. And then, of course, putting 8 CPUs in there with 24 gigabytes of RAM and a bandwidth of 46 gigabit per second as memory bandwidth is extreme. And we think, we have to invest and also research more into this direction, what is possible. And I think in the coming years, it will evolve to an even nicer environment. But that's the first step we did with this Hyperscreen concept. Regarding maps and NDS, we have a concept called zero layer. Zero layer means we will have everything map-centric. It will not be a menu and just switch to a map and back to the menu. We said it's going to be no hierarchies. It will be the map as a central, display element. And we will have the map always visible because we think mobility is tightly, connected to a map, and it's good to have the map always visible. And it's very interesting. You have infotainment in there, you have vehicle functions there, you have all search functions, and also infotainment is directly linked to the map and as a geospatial content. And the map becomes in this way a fundamental base element, not just for navigation, also, as I said, other vehicle functions. I think that was that was it. As you saw, we had 3 different navigation generations, that we now equip with NDS, and we're of course very interested and very curious what NDS Live can bring us, because we're interested in real-time maps, we're interested in fresh maps, and I think you can only provide a premium navigation experience if you also get premium maps and maps that are always fresh. And I think this is something where we have big hopes in NDS that we can deliver even better content into our vehicles. Thanks a lot. So if you have questions, just put them in the chat. I'm happy to answer them, and I would like to give back to Martin.
Thank you very much, Nihat. Very impressive. So you have delivered a lot of innovation. So far, I cannot see a question, but let me ask you, can you provide a little insight about your plans already, to the extent that you are able to share what you would work on next, and in particular, if you already have some ideas what you would do with fresh maps?
Yes, of course. I mean, we would like to, have more real-time information in the map. We need better, fresher map data in terms of like traffic signs. We would like to have more information about traffic signals. We would like to improve the geometry of the roads depending on our fleet data, for example. We can do much more, let's say, with augmented reality, but believe me, the map data is not good enough, to project, like arrows on the road. And when you have junctions, we need the exact geometry, when you turn left or right. So there are a lot of issues. We could do much more, but therefore we need a better map. We'd also love to have maps layered into different layers so that we can do updates on specific feature groups only and not the entire map. And, when we talk about NDS Live, I mean, Otto, your presentation was also very helpful, is keep in mind that bandwidth is still expensive. It's not like in your private data plan. When we do worldwide roaming, we pay different amounts of money in order to get the data into the car. So any thoughts in that direction, making NDS Live very compact and very responsive, is extremely welcome from our side. And we think that sometimes we need to look also to the consumer industry and also get rid of the idea that we deliver map versions in future. You're used to Google Maps when you just open your smartphone. Google doesn't tell you what map version you have, right? So we don't want to have versions anymore. We would like to stream always the freshest maps, and people will then understand and believe that we always have the best map. And that's where we want to go. And we don't want to have any map updates through USB sticks or 4 hours, over the air updates. That's what we have to overcome. And then with better maps, we heard it in multiple talks today. With better maps, believe me, we'll have much better features in the car, both for safety, comfort, autonomous driving, of course. But I see that we can, in the next generation we are going to build, or are actually in the moment building, I think we can still incorporate better maps when they arrive, in the next, let's say, 1 or 2 years.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is helpful, and at least I see this as a kind of confirmation about the conceptual changes in terms of handling map data. So going away from a static map database that we have introduced in NDS Live. So that's at least for me a good sign that this was the right decision. I think it was necessary, maybe a little bit of overdue, since we know that it always takes some lead time until we have the standard ready, until the product's being developed, so that we have NDS Live in a state that you can start implementing and
looking forward,
new innovative. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, thanks for that. I'm a little bit surprised that we don't have any further questions, but anyway, I think you will also be around if the questions will be there later on, and you covered already pretty interesting materials. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Good. So then, it was a pleasure having you speak, Nihat.
Thank you for watching. Visit our website for news on NDS at nds-association.org.